Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. In today's session, we will be discussing about a different category of local search algorithms or local search problems, which are known as constraint satisfaction problems. And in short, we term it as CSP. Now, CSP is a widely used range of problem categories, and these problems, they basically have states and goal test which conforms to a standard. So if they match that particular standard, then only we can consider that the goal is achieved. So goal test basically depends upon the states and the goal standard, which basically is a very structured and simple representation. We will talk about this in details when we will do a representation of this. So we have to understand that the goal standard, that means a set standard is there based on which we have to perform the goal test, and if it passes that particular standard, that means it is the constraint satisfaction problem is, or the CSP is solved. So talking about the goal standard, we have to understand that this goal standard is extremely structured and has a very simple representation. So it is very simple, simply represented, and has a well defined structure informing the standard of that particular goal test. Talking about the definition of a constraint satisfaction problem, so if we go by the formal definition, so the definition of a CSP or a CSP is defined by a set of variables. So it has a set of variables that can range from x1, x2, xn, and a set of constraints. So since it is a constraint satisfaction problem, so definitely it will have sorry, the spelling is wrong. So it will have a set of constraints associated with it. So these constraints are basically c1, c2, cn. So this can be represented using any alphabet or any variable. However, we chose to represent this because this is the standard way of representing the variables and the constraint. Now each variable xi has a domain. So xi is basically related to a domain di of possible values. Domain di of possible values. So this constraint satisfaction problem, if we look by the formal definition, we have to understand that they have a list of variables or a set of variables and a set of constraints, and each of the variables, they have a domain, and this domain generally is non-empty in nature, and this domain has a range of possible values for the variable. Each constraint against ci involves some subset of the variables and specifies allowable combinations of values for that subset. So if we are considering ci, they will not be just associated with one variable, they will involve a subset of variables, so that we can go by different combination of the variables, and we can specify the allowable combination of values for that particular subset. So these are the four parameters which are associated with a CSP. That means it is defined by a set of variables and a set of constraints, and each variable xi has a non-empty domain di of possible values, and each constraint ci involves some subset of variables and specifies allowable combination of values for that subset. Talking about CSP, the first, we already discussed about the definition. Now we have to discuss about the state of the problem. Okay, so state of the problem is a very essential component of any problem solving approach, because without knowing the state, we actually do not know how what methodology we have to approach. So the state of the problem in a CSP is defined by the assignment of values to some or all of the variables. So the variables, since I have xi, so if I am assigning some value, let's say vi, okay, or let's say if I'm having xj, I'm assigning some value to it, which is vj and so on. So this basically is the definition of the state of the problem. So the variable along with the value, maybe it might be one variable or it might be multiple variables, it might be one value or it might be multiple values. So whenever we are assigning some values to some or all of the variables, we consider that the state of the problem is defined. That means we know about that particular problem. An assignment that does not violate any constraint is called a consistent or legal assignment, and we are supposed to use this legal assignment when we are assigning values to the variables. So legal assignment pertains to those assignment or that assignment which does not violate any constraints. And a complete assignment is one in which every variable is mentioned. So if we have, let's say, different variables, let's say xi, xj, xk dot dot dot. So if I am assigning values to each of these variables, then we can consider that it is a complete assignment. Initially, assignment can have, that means if I am defining the state of the problem, essentially we can either consider one assignment or multiple assignments, or some of them might not be assigned at all. But if we are considering a complete assignment, then all of the variables need to be assigned. And the next important factor that we have to discuss about a CSP is that the solution to a CSP. So we know what a CSP is, we know what the state of the problem is, and after we understand the state of the problem, we have to understand how we are going to solve it. So the solution of a CSP is a complete assignment that satisfies all constraints. So if we go by the definition, so it is a complete assignment. That means all of the variables needs to be assigned with values, and it will satisfies all constraints. So whatever constraints we have, okay, satisfies all constraints. So constraints, let me give you one or a few examples. So constraints, let's say I have a variable x. This x should have a constraint that no, I will not use here. So x should, so my variable is basically x. So x should be less than or equal to 5. Okay, so this is, let's say this is xi. So x should be less than or equal to 5. So this is basically the ci. Okay, so my constraint is that the variable should not have a value which is greater than 5. So that is the constraint. So when we are talking about solution to a CSP, it has to be a complete assignment which will satisfy all types of constraints associated with that particular variable. Some CSPs also require solution which satisfies some of the constraints, not all, but generally CSP, a complete solution to a CSP basically requires a solution which satisfies all the constraint. Now some CSPs also require a solution which, this is one definition, the other definition could be which maximizes an objective function. So this might be one of the constraint, maximizes an objective function. So objective function can range from your heuristic values in addition to your actual cost. So if we are trying to maximize the objective function, that also would be leading to the solution of a CSP. So solution can be defined in these two ways. Now let us once again recapitulate what we have just discussed. So a CSP, it will consist of a set of variables, let's say x1, x2, xn, and this set of variables can consider colors, names, etc. Okay, the next one that we have is a set of domain. So set of domain, which is D, is equal to D1, D2, and a set of constraints C, which is C1, C2 dot dot Cn, right? So these are the three different parameters which are associated with a CSP: variables, domain, and constraints. Now we assume a finite set of variables and a discrete domain, generally a discrete domain, and if we are considering a domain which is discrete and a finite set of variables also, then we have to express, let me write it down for you. So if we are assuming, let us assume finite set of variables and finite and discrete domain. So then each constraint satisfaction problem can be expressed as a pair. So each constraint is a pair which is represented as Ci is equal to Si comma Ri. Now Ci is basically the constraint. Okay, so each, I'll write it here, constraint Ci is a pair and they are represented this in this particular manner. So Si is the scope of constraint, where Si is basically a subset of X. Okay, so variable Si will be the scope, and it will be the it will also be a proper subset of X. Okay, that means Si can belong from Xi1, Xi2, Xip. Okay, and Ri is a subset of the domain. So this is basically Di1, not a subset, it is a cross product of a subset of the cross product of different domains. So Dip. So this is how we will be representing a constraint. Okay, so in practice, Ri is either explicit or implicit. That means Ri can have any values. If we are considering Ri to be explicit, then Ri can have any values from 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if we are let us consider this 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we are considering an explicit Ri, that means if we are considering Ri to be explicit, that means the set of domain to be explicit, then we have to represent it in this manner. If we are considering it as an explicit, if this is an explicit representation, so if it is explicit, we have to mention it explicitly. Now if we are considering Ri to be implicit, then we can write it something like this, which is greater than 0 and less than 8, right? So this is the domain of the constraint. That means the constraint would be that I have to assign values to the variables which will be existing in this particular range, right? So this is the scope and this is the range that we are talking about. Now considering solution to a CSP, so this can be formally defined as solution to a CSP. So if we are considering a formal definition of CSP, solution to a CSP, it is denoted by a pair. Okay, it is denoted by R is equal to X D C, and Ri is basically known as the constraint network in a more formal term. Constraint network. It is an assignment to each variable from their domain such that each constraint is satisfied. Okay, that we have already discussed. And for generality, we assume that one variable has one constant, so or constraint. So if we are considering a generalized representation or generalized solution, so we have to consider that one variable has one constraint. So this is basically a generalization concept. So this is all about the theoretical aspect of constraint satisfaction problem, where we have discussed what constraint satisfaction problems are, what is a constraint, and what can be a possible state of the problem, as well as the solution to a CSP. So here we have already discussed X is the set of variables, D is the set of domain, and C is the set of constraints, and it is an assignment. Basically this solution is an assignment. We already talked about assignments also. So assignment to each variable from their domain such that each constraint is satisfied. So it is like I have a number, let's say I have a alphabet which is B. So B is a variable. B can have a value which is ranging from, let's say, 0 to 7. Okay, so this is the constraint that it has, and the domain, it will be the set of integers. So this can be a possible representation of a entire solution to a CSP. Now whenever we get a new problem, the first job is to understand whether that problem is basically having some constraints or not. Generally most of the problems, it has a constraint associated with it. It might be in the form of an objective function, or it might be the form of anything, let's say cost, time, space, etc. So everything, they are coming with some constraints. So we will simply take the new problem and we will represent it in a CSP, and then we will apply a solver or apply the solution. That means how we are going to assign each value. Now taking a very basic example, suppose most of us have heard about the n queens problem. N queens problem. Now this n queens problem is a problem in which, suppose I have a board here. Okay, so it might be 4 queens problem or it might be 5 queens problem. It is up to you, however you represent n. Okay, so n can be anything from 1, 2, 3 ... Okay, so this is the n queens problem. So, and when we are considering n queens problem, you have to understand that, let's say there is a state space, something like this. I'll simply draw it using factor. Okay, and here let us say I have 4 different queens. Okay, x1, x2, x3 and x4. So, and I have to place these 4 queens in such a way that they do not cross each other. So x1, x2, x3 and x4, and this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let us consider this 4 queens problem, and I have to now express this as a constraint satisfaction problem. Now if I am considering the first 2 queens, let's say x1 and x2. So if I am considering this as x1 and x2 as the first one, so what happens is, let me change the color here. Yes, So when I'm considering R1 and 2, okay, so R basically is the solution to the CSP. So when I'm considering R1 and 2, if I'm placing my first queen in this block, so essentially this can move in this direction and this direction. So where can I place the second queen? I can place the second queen in this block, right? So the first condition would be this. Now if I am considering the second queen in this point, then let me first write down the set. So if I am placing x1 in the first block, then I have to place x2 in the third block so that it does not cross each other's way. Again, if I am now placing x1 in the first block, I can also place x2 here. Then also this will not cross each other, right? So what I'll try to do is I will place x2 in the fourth block as well, right? The next one is, if I'm considering the queen in the second block, forget about the first one now. So if I'm considering the queen in the second block, so what happens here? The queen can now move in this direction and this direction, as well as in this direction. So 4 directions is possible. So second queen can be placed in only fourth block. So what I'll try to do is I will define this. So x1 in the second block, then x2 will be in the fourth block. Now if I place x1 in the third block, so what will happen if I place x1 in the third block? Let me rub this first. Okay, all right. So now if I'm placing x1 in the third block, it can move in this direction and this direction. So now I cannot place x2 in the fourth block. x2 will not be possible here. x2 has to be placed either here, okay, only this particular point is possible. So what I'll do is I will simply write it down as, if I'm placing x1 in the third block, I will place this in first block. And then likewise, if I'm placing x1 in the fourth block, I can place in 1 as well as 2. x2 in 1 as well as 2. So these are basically the positions allowed in x1 and x2 for the queen, right? For the queen. Now similarly, we can also consider R2, 3. So the positions in which x2 and x3, if I am considering x2 and x3, so which are the positions which x2 and x3 will allow, right? Again, I can consider for R3 and 4, and finally when I am considering R1 and 4. So all of these will define certain constraints as well as certain domain as well as certain variables associated with it, the values of the variable. So we are assigning the values of the variable here. So if we are combining all of them, let's say R12 plus R23 plus R34 plus R14, so we will, after cancelling out the common positions, so we will find a suitable solution for this n queens problem, where the queens will not cross each other, because what we have defined it as a constraint satisfaction problem, when solution to a constraint satisfaction problem. So we have found out the positions for which the queens will not cancel each other out, okay, or it will not come in their way. So in this way, whenever I'm getting a problem in hand, I'm converting it into a CSP representation, and finally I am getting a solution, or I am applying a solver to it so that I can solve that particular problem, right? So this is all about your constraint satisfaction problem. We will see a sample of this constraint satisfaction problem in the form of a crypt arithmetic problem in my next session. So this is the theoretical aspect of constraint satisfaction problem, where we have discussed a lot of things. We have defined a CSP, we have seen what are the different components a CSP has, and that it is testing itself against a particular gold standard. And after that we talked about a lot of other things which are associated with a CSP, like what is a constraint representation, then what is the solution of a problem, and how can we solution of the CSP, and how can we represent a particular problem in the form of a CSP and apply a solver to it. So that is all for this session. We will talk about this with an example in the form of crypt arithmetic problems, which are also associated in various competitive examinations, in my next video. Thank you.